Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Welcome to the Brave Black Mom Podcast, where moms of color can come to relax, relate, and release. I'm your host, T, and it's my birthday. Okay, on March 12th, 1986, at 8:19 p.m., while The Cosby Show was playing, a show that I don't watch, nor have I really ever seen, by the way, but that is neither here nor there. Judge your mama. We're not here to judge me today. We're not here to talk about me. Focus back to the point. That is when I was born. That is when I was born. That is when I graced this world. Shout out to my parents for greatness. You know, shout out to my parents for just believing in me and bringing me forth into this world. Shout out to my mama, you know, for birthing me and you know, producing all this greatness. So yes, it is my birthday. The best month of all the months, March to be exact. I am way closer to 40 than I would like to be, but hey, here we are, we living, we loving. 38 this year, 38 as in she ate that up, I ate that up. Yeah, I'm here though. I feel extremely grateful this year. I'm in a really solid space in life right now. You know, growing. We call that growth. And I'm just grateful for this community. I'm grateful for my BBMs and my BBLs rocking with me these past few months. Like, y'all have made this year just phenomenal. And we've only been together a few weeks, right? So just a meaningful thing for you guys to join me here in this space each week, and that's just good enough for me. So yes, fabulous birthday so far. That's also why I wanted to include you all in my celebration by allowing you to ask me anything in this very special birthday celebration episode. So we have so much more to talk about in this season, and we're going to get to those episodes. But it was necessary to just take a pause today. Let's just take a pause and chill. And my last episode was pretty deep, you know, pretty heavy, as some of y'all commented on. But just an episode today to just hear what you're wanting to know about, what you've had questions about so far. Y'all asked some good questions. I can't wait to jump into them. I'm also hosting my first giveaway, and you'll find out at the end of this episode who the winner is for that $100 gift card. So good luck to all of you guys who participated in the giveaway. Y'all showed up as expected with the questions. I have over 40 questions that were asked. A lot of them I had to consolidate and kind of put together because they were similar, but we need to go ahead and jump right on in so we have time to get to them all. But before we do that, y'all know what to do. And if you're new here, this is the time where I ask that if you haven't already, to please follow Brave Black Mom the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Most importantly, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast on whatever streaming platform you are listening through right now. Lastly, don't forget to leave a review. Tell the people if you're liking this or not. And now a lot of people listening this week might be new because y'all done signed up for the giveaway. You like, I'm new here. I just want to know if I won, you know. So if you're new here, I need to introduce you to who the people are, the people that we need you to do the reviews for. The people is the birthday girl, okay? The birthday girl. And that birthday girl is me, T. I'm the one. I'm the one who wants to know if you're liking what you hear or not. So make sure you leave a review after you hear this today. And tell the people. Tell the people if you're liking it or not. And let us know, okay? All right, y'all. Without further ado, let's jump into the questions for our special birthday episode, Ask Me Anything. Okay, y'all. Again, 40 plus questions. So what I did, I tried to kind of group the questions into, I guess, categories so that it kind of flows. But if it don't, child, and I'm jumping all over the place, just hanging there with me. But y'all asked some good questions, very, very good questions. And I'm gonna just jump into them right now, answer them, you know, as authentically and openly as I can, and trying to consider time. So I'm gonna try to condense a lot of answers, and not go in too much, if you will. So the first question This was also like, I think 2 people asked this question, so I combined them. Was, what made you start this podcast? And another person asked, what was the ultimate inspiration for the podcast? So the ultimate inspiration for the podcast was the fact that I was a very insecure mother of 3 girls. I talk about this in episode 1, so cheat code if you want to go back and listen to that, the Why Breathe Black Mom episode. I talk about why I started this podcast and what the inspiration was. And it was mainly around the fears that I had when I found out I was having another girl, and just feeling inadequate in the ability to do this job. Like, you see so many influencers, because influencers are the wave nowadays, and they just really paint this picture perfect life, and even on the days that they're like, oh, I'm not a perfect mom, it's still a polished up version of their life. And social media gives us that free reign to do that. Like, it gives us that space to show the world what we want and what we don't want, and that's a gift and a curse, because so many of us hang on to that, that everyday part of social media being a part of our lives, that we see this, and as much as we know it's not reality and it's not real, it somehow still makes us feel like we're supposed to be living up to a standard. And I wanted something authentic. Like, I couldn't connect with a lot of these women that I was seeing or following, a lot of these mommies, because I'm like, yeah, no, but y'all ain't talking about what I be going through over here, or I would say, the ones I saw talking about the stuff that I was going through as a mom didn't look like me. I'll say that. Most of the ones who look like me were still trying to paint this picture of, hey, it's still all gravy over here. It's not always gravy over here, baby. It's not always gravy over here. So I wanted something authentic and real that people could relate to, and not really feel the need to strive for perfection in motherhood. But just understanding that, like, right where you are, you're still a great mom. You still can be a great mom at whatever level of motherhood you're in. And I wanted it to be people who look like me, because we're the ones who are least likely to speak up about the issues, about the anxiety, about the traumas, about the fears. We're not, as outspoken as some of our counterparts. So that is why, and that was the ultimate inspiration. I wanted a space where moms, and not just moms, because what I'm learning, and we'll get to that in a second, a question about that through this podcast, is it's not just moms this podcast is reaching. Like, oh my God, it's that's why I got my BBLs paused. It's other people listening who are, relating to some of the topics. But yeah, just being able to connect as a mother of color, as a person of color, to some of the stuff we go through. The second part of that question is why, I started this podcast, is I'm a helper by nature. I'm an advocate by nature. I'm a social worker, and that's just, I like bringing awareness, and that is just the heart of who I am. I also knew I wasn't alone in how I felt with the stuff, that I would see and being insecure. Because listen, when you see somebody who always praising it and just, oh my God, motherhood is the joy of my life. And that is very true for a lot of people. Sometimes it's not true for all of us every day. Like, motherhood is not the joy of my life every single day. And you just start to feel like something is wrong with me, babe, because I don't feel like that. And that's not true, because it's a lot of us who do feel like that. And I have my own theory on that. I'm gonna come back to that later. But I just knew I wasn't alone. I heard the stories from other moms. I saw it, in conversation, and I just wanted to bring awareness to all the things we face being moms, and again, moms of color. So y'all go listen to episode 1 for more details surrounding that and my inspiration. Next question. Will you ever bring any guests on the podcast? And the second part of that question is, somebody suggested you should do a panel of Black moms. Well, yes, honey, of course. I'm going to bring guests on the podcast. Absolutely. Season 1, I wanted to be more foundational. Okay. Y'all don't know me. A lot of y'all don't. Some of y'all do, but some of y'all don't. And even the some of y'all that do, you really don't know me. It's family listening that's like, girl, what? Yeah. So y'all don't really know me like that. So I really wanted season 1 to more so be dedicated to people understanding who I am as a mother, getting to know some of my family dynamics, just kind of laying that foundation of who I am as a person, and kind of what my mission is around Breathe Black Mom. Now season 2, oh baby, season 2 gonna have guests. We gonna feature a lot more guests. I know there's a lot of like mom influencers out there, but I really wanted my focus to be, when I bring guests on, just everyday moms, like people who don't have the platforms to share their stories and, you know, don't have the audience to hear what we need to hear, what we need to hear from them. Some people got some good stuff that they want to talk about, good knowledge that they got. And, you know, I want to use my platform to share that and give everyday moms and everyday listeners, not just my mommies, a chance to share so we can learn from every last one of them, which leads to my next question that I received. It says, Breed Black Mom is the name, but will you ever have any male guests outside of my husband? Absolutely. First of all, I just want to shout out to my BBLs, pause, because that includes my male listeners, and that's so weird calling my male listeners BBLs, but y'all here, and I love y'all. So that includes my male listeners. So listen, I have men who listen, and I'm excited. Like I'm excited for them. I'm excited about this. Like, and they give me very good feedback. And I'm just really excited that they are here and they are listening. I also have quite a few listeners who aren't moms, and I'm grateful for all of them. So yes, I plan to have guests on the show that can relate to topics being discussed. I'm very, very open to having male guests on the show as well to give their perspectives on different stuff. Y'all, I got, listen, true story. I got a notebook still with over 40 plus topics that we gonna do. It ain't gonna be 40 topics in season 1, but we ready. We in this thing. So if you locked in, we here, and we got plenty room for plenty of people to come on and have discussions. Next question: what's your favorite part of having this platform, and how has it helped you? Also a 2-part question that people, you know, I put the questions together. So what's your favorite part of having this platform? How has it helped you? My favorite part is being able to bring awareness and connecting with other people who share common I ain't got my Invisalign in, y'all, who share common issues and concerns. Like I said earlier, it just sends a message to me that I'm not alone. I really, really love when Wednesdays come around and those messages start rolling in about how people connected to the message or how it impacted them. And in those moments, I just know, like, T, you're doing the right thing. So it has become a form of self-care for me in terms of how it's helped me. I get to come on here and say the things that, you know, I'm only saying to people who were safe spaces and, you know, people who I thought, like, I could only tell. I'm getting to say those things out loud and help people, and it's self-care, you know, to talk about this stuff, and it's freeing. It has freed me of this idea that I have had in my head about what a mom is supposed to be and how a mom is supposed to act. Like, it's freed me. So all the things that I thought I had to pretty up about my life or about parenting, I don't have to do that here. Like, I can just be T in this space, which is a big part of why I don't use my legal name. Because T is a side of me that a lot of people don't get to experience often. T is the friend. T is the wife. She's the mom. She's the goofy one, the funny one. She's not the professional that I have to use the legal name for. And I get to be her here with no judgment. So that is how the podcast has helped me. What is the most challenging part of discussing parts of your life while considering others? This is a great question. Let me tell you why. Because this was a huge reason as to why it took me 3 years to actually launch Breed Black Mom. Like, when I tell y'all I have been working on this podcast for 3 years, I mean, doing research, studying, developing episodes, like all of this, but there was this fear, and a part of that fear was this, right? Let me first say my biggest fear with this, and it was reiterated for me after the Meet Jay episode, because that still to this day stands. I think that episode and She Got Bad Nerves are neck and neck in the numbers that it did, and the Meet Jay episode was the hottest episode when I first launch this platform. And my fear was reiterated through that episode, and that was that I don't want people coming to Breathe Black Mom because they feel like I am going to dish tea, and not TEE but TEA, about my life. Like, that's not the goal at all. And I know that a lot of people listen to Meet Jay, and I know because the analytics show me where the listeners were, so I know where those listeners came from, and they all jumped on here because they all wanted some tea. But that is not the goal for me, and that was a big fear. It's like, I don't want people coming to this platform to listen to me because they think I'm about to spill some tea about my life. That's not what this podcast is. That's not the goal at all, and that's not my mission here. Like, my mission for this platform is to help people. It is to truly create a safe space for us to discuss some real life stuff that we are faced with in parenting. So on the flip side of that, the other part of this question I think that you're asking is, as a result, that will require some vulnerability from me and sharing pieces of my story that might make people uncomfortable. My intent in sharing those pieces of my story are never with intention to hurt anybody, but to only share my truth, which is why I remain very careful in how and what I share. For that reason, I'm very careful of how I share things and what I share, because I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to share my truth, and I'm here to help. So do I realize that when I share my truth, I'm going to hurt some people? Yes, absolutely. I already know that. And I took all that into consideration when I considered doing the podcast about motherhood, with me being, at the source of that, at the center of that. But at the same time, it's also not my work to do in regards to that. If someone's feelings is hurt over something I said on the podcast, it's not my work to do. It's their work to do. Like, I went to therapy for a reason. Y'all hear it all the time. I'm a therapist with I'm a therapist with a therapist. And I went to therapy for a reason, to heal those broken parts of me and do my work. And I still do my work daily. I do my work daily. And as a result, I'm not afraid to embrace every part of my story. And I realize that every part of my story is not the version of the story that people have who may be a part of that. So I already know that kind of comes with this. And it was something I seriously had to work through before I decided to launch this platform. So it is challenging. The simple answer, it is challenging. But I'm not going to run from it. I'm still just going to be very careful, though. Will there ever be an episode discussing adult female friendships, its importance, its highs and lows, and your personal experiences along life's journey? Absolutely yes. Yes. Oh my God. Like, that episode is actually in this season. So stay tuned, people. Hold on tight. Friendships have most definitely been the greatest, one of the greatest lessons in life that I've learned. And I'm excited to share my experience about that, and my experiences with teaching my girls about friendships. Because, baby, listen, having daughters and talking about these friends. Jesus, it's coming, y'all. It's coming. So just stay tuned for that episode. I'm also going to do a follow-up episode in season 2 with some of my friends, some of my nearest and my dearest. Because I want to discuss, I have a dear friend who our relationship has really evolved over the years. And she is definitely one of those who I want a part of the show, because I want people to hear the high school version of us and the mommy version of us, because we are two different versions of each other. And I just really value that relationship with her. And I want people to hear that, from both of us and our perspective, because that is the one relationship that I feel like has truly blossomed from, high school girls. And I say girls because, baby, we was petty. We was something else, to women who are wives and moms. And, I think it's really important for people to know what that process is like. It's not an easy process, and it's not, but me and her did some work. We did some work to get where we are, and I think it's beautiful where we are. So she is definitely somebody that I want a part of that episode so we can talk more about it. Absolutely. Are you ever going to allow your mom to come on? And this was a 2-part question because 2 people asked it. And will you ever interview your mom? I would love to interview my mama. and have her on the show. I know she listening because she one of my number one fans. I would love to interview her and have her on the show. My mom is sort of shy. Like, anybody who knows my mom, like, knows her, and haven't made any assumptions about her based on what they think they know about her. She is pretty shy. Like, she's open and cool with us, but she don't be wanting to fool with the people, like, talking to people. She always has been pretty shy. So I think I would have to do some convincing her to get on here. She listening, so Mom, if you listening, two people want to know if you want to get on here and talk to them. So, but I would absolutely love for you all to hear from her, and I might put out some questions that y'all want to ask her. But yeah, I'm gonna have to talk her into it because I don't know how she gonna feel about getting on this microphone. But yes, I would love it. In what ways has the podcast impacted your children, if any? So far, I haven't seen a huge impact on the kids at this point. Like, they love the idea of me having a podcast or this platform, especially my oldest. They love, hearing like, Mommy, how many people listened, especially when it was their shows. They liked hearing the feedback from their shows because I do share some of that stuff with them. And again, my oldest is a listener, and, she's very aware of what's going on. So the part that's been challenging there is in terms of what I share, because my child is still listening. So we have a pretty open relationship. Like, there are thoughts and experiences about motherhood, of course, though, that I haven't shared with her, like, because she's still a child. So there have had to be some off mic conversations, just even so far, that we've had to have just for clarity for her. But so far so good in how it's going with them, and no major concerns right now. Also because I've kind of, shielded them from the public. Like, you guys really only know their nickname or part of their name, and you have old pictures of them on there, but you don't have any news. So I haven't really seen a huge impact, but I do plan to continue to involve them in the podcast, and, have them come on, especially more often, and involve them in the social media aspect. So we'll see how it goes later, but I'm really, really protective of my baby. So not too much on them. Okay, so this set of questions was a little more, related to, I guess, who T is. The first question was, do you have any hidden talents? Actually, yes, I do. I am an artist. I draw. I have been drawing since I was a kid. I've won several art competitions in drawing. I had my artwork featured in Sports Illustrated for Kids magazine when I was in 6th grade. I won lots of art competitions. I had my artwork in my high school what was that crinkum thing at my high school. A lot of people didn't know I could draw then. It was like, well, you could draw. So it's like a what do you call it, like a hidden talent for sure, because I can draw. I don't necessarily love it, and most of the time when people find out you can draw, the first thing they say is, can you draw me this? And I'm just not that person that does it for fun. I just have that talent. I also used to have a canvas, like painting, like the paint and sip canvases called Breathe and Paint. I still have that business, but I have passed the torch to my daughter. So she will be taking over that business because she's also an artist, my oldest. So Breathe and Paint, just like Breathe Like Mom, it's still a thing. But I just personally didn't have time to keep up with them because I was hand drawing all them canvases, baby. Hand drawn. So it was just a lot, trying to juggle everything else and drop it. That is my hidden talent. What food do you hate? I hate beans, okay? I'm not even sure why they were invented. I hate beans. I hate the texture of beans, all the beans, the kidney, the pintos, the black, all of it. Is black eyed peas a bean? It looks like one. I don't like them. The only bean I eat is a string bean, and I love string beans, but I don't like beans. That's the food I hate. I hate the texture of them. I don't even know why they're there. So don't put a chili bean in my chili. Don't give me a bean, okay? That's probably the one food that I hate. How did you pick your kids' names? Surprisingly, there was not much thought put into it, guys. Like, there was not much thought put into their names at all. Like, at the time of the year that Jay was born, her name was kind of new, or I would say really popular, and I liked it. Her name was originally Jaden. I can tell y'all that because that's not her real name. Her name was originally Jaden. It's all on her baby shower stuff. When I look at her baby shower cards and pictures from baby shower, I'm like, look at that child. Literally last minute in the hospital room, I changed my mind and I named her what I named her. Her middle name is just a play on her father's middle name, and her last name, baby, I blame hospital, drugs, trauma from birth, because she has a hyphenated last name. He and I argued about this, and I just didn't want to fight about it anymore. But she does have my maiden and her father's name as hyphenated last name. Ugh. Anyway, I knew when my middle baby came, I wanted to name her and her sisters very similarly in terms of their initials. So all my kids have first names that begin with J and middle names that begin with A. So Jordy's first name was just one that I liked. Again, not too much thought into it. I just liked the name. Her first name is also very gender neutral. And of course, I was hoping for a boy. So that was what the boy's name was going to be. And it was either way. So that's kind of how I chose her name. Her middle name for Jordy is the same as my husband's first daughter, the one that passed away. We honored her by giving Jordy her middle name. Pooch. Man, listen, she was a surprise. I had nothing, y'all. I had nothing at all. Like, I wasn't even expecting her, so I was just like, whatever, find a cute name and start with J. I had nothing. Somehow in that process, I'm not sure, I don't remember whose decision it was, but we decided to mimic her name after my middle name. So that's what we did. Her first name is a play on my middle name. And her middle name was made up by my mom as a play on her father's name, her father's first name. So, I mean, I guess you could say it was thought, but I don't feel like it's much thought. Like, I don't have like the significance of their names and know it means a birthing place. I don't know, y'all. I just picked them because they was cute and it worked out. Who's your favorite sister? I just want y'all to stop for a second and just guess who submitted this question. It had to be one of my sisters, of course. Okay. I don't even know if my followers even knew I had sisters, but maybe y'all did. But yeah, I have 3 biological sisters. 2 on my mother's side, 1 on my father's. I have 2 sisters through marriage, 2 stepsisters through marriage. But my 3 biological sisters, 2 I was raised with on my mom's side. My youngest sister I was not raised with. We had the same father, but you know, we are closer now than we were in childhood. They are all uniquely different. They each serve a very different role in my life. So therefore, they are all my favorite sister. There you go. To the person who answered that question. All of them. All are my favorite. There you go. How do you feel your mom did when it came to raising you and your sisters? Good question. So as an older and wiser adult who's experienced growth, also as an adult who knows my mom's story pretty well, I know my mom did the best that she could with what she had. Was she perfect? Of course not. Like, that's literally why all of us are here. None of us are. None of us are. So there were things that I'm sure she did that she wished she did differently. There are things, of course, I wish she did differently. But I've shared a lot with my mom in regards to areas that hurt me growing up, and she's always been really receptive to hearing them. Hearing the feedback is not easy, I'm sure, but she's always been receptive to hearing it. And I think what has helped me is knowing my mother's story. Like, my mom has always shared pieces of her story of me growing up, and of course, as I got older and wiser, she shared, more and more. And that knowing her story and knowing what my mom has been through and experienced, it has helped me show grace for her. In any of the areas where I feel like she didn't get it right or any of that, her story has helped me show grace, to not excuse it, but to be like, I get it, and we're going to talk about that in the episode coming up soon too. But me and my mom are super close. She's super supportive, and she has the most genuine heart of anybody I've known. She's always been a constant in my life, and she still remains that, not ever missing a beat. So yeah, I know she did her best. I know she did her best. And I know even still as adults, she still wants to do her best in making sure that she shows up for us. Being a therapist and taking in so much of others' other people's baggage, how do you cover yourself from bringing that stuff home with you? How do you decompress? Big one for those of us who are in the helping profession, because if you don't cover yourself and if you don't decompress, you will burn out. This is a huge reason why right now, currently, I no longer practice therapy. Like, I was burnt out from therapy. I have been in my career about 13 years now, and yeah, I can't do it. Like, every now and then I'm still doing what we call direct client care, but for the majority, like right now, I'm in management, so I'm in a director's role, so I'm teaching and training other therapists. But yeah, listen, it burns you out. But what I used to do was, my spiritual practices and my spiritual walk is something that's very important to me, and something that was a very important part of how I decompress. So I always prayed before I went into a session, and I always prayed when I got out. Like, I had to go in a little quiet space in my office, because people bring in very heavy stuff. If you're in therapy or if you're a therapist, you already know what that's like. So you know what you take to your therapist. So it's very heavy, and I have to get it off of me. The other thing I used to do is I really leaned on my coworkers a lot. Like, we leaned on each other. So we would go to lunch to debrief, I had a friend that was also a coworker. We would work out. Like, we did stuff that just debrief, laughing at work, getting. One of my friends who is a coworker, we cut up so bad at work. We used to be like, who trusted us to help people? But it was just our way. Like, it was our way of coping. And it was important, because you got to just kind of escape from that. So that was a really good coping skill for me while at work. And then too, I just really tried to turn work off when I left. Like, it's not really easy to do that now in the role that I'm in, but I do as much as I can to apply self-care as I can, which I'm not the best at, and which also leads to my next question. Now, this question was asked by multiple people, so I'm going to read each part of the question because I want people to know that their part of their question was acknowledged, but several people asked me this. So the question was, what struggles have you faced juggling motherhood, a career, and a wife? How do you balance it all while doing life? When and how do you find time to breathe? What are practical ways that you manage all the demands of motherhood, being a wife, and your own personal needs? So all those questions I felt like were same category. I'm just going to answer them all at once. The honest answer to this is I ain't balancing none of it, baby. Like, that's why I'm here. I ain't doing very well in that area. But I'm trying. That's what matters, is that I'm trying, and I'm here with y'all being real to tell you I don't know. I'm not balancing anything. But I can tell you what I'm trying to do. Because the reality is I'm still trying to figure this out, right? But I can tell you what I'm trying to do. I think trying to be everything to everyone is what weighs the most on me. I have a very high stress job. It literally pulls me like an octopus in every which way, right? It requires me at work to be everything to everyone. Then I have to come home and I have to be a mom and a taxi and a calendar keeper and a safe space and a high school navigator, and still find time to show my husband some time and attention and be a great friend and work out and eat right and drink water and keep up a facial routine. Like, it's exhausting. Like, I'm exhausted mentally. But one thing I value, and this is where I guess the juggling comes in for me, and where I find the balance and where I find my time to breathe, as someone asked, my love language is quality time. I value quality time. Okay, that you want to speak a language to me, don't buy me nothing. You could take me somewhere, because that's probably my second one, because I like to travel. But talk to me. Like, talk to me. Let's talk. Like, I am a quality time person. So that is where I find my space to breathe. Like, any quality time with my husband, my kids, my immediate family, and like, it's my love language. It's how I debrief. Like, I don't just want it. I need that. I need it as a coping skill for me. So yeah, another thing, like, my time with my friends is very important to me. My friends really keep me focused and stable, so I prioritize that. And over the past couple of years, it has been a priority for me. It helps me to recharge when I'm with my girls, and we'll all hop on Zoom. Like, we gonna get in our time. Another big one though is my faith. Like, my faith is how I stay recharged and how I stay afloat when I feel weighed down, when I feel like I'm not juggling it all. I have to go back to my faith. So those are the things that kind of help me, but I promise y'all I don't have it all figured out, because the challenges that do come with that is wherever you feel like you're thriving in one area, somebody lacking. Like, that's the honest truth of it, right? So if I'm doing amazing in my career, my kids ain't got enough of my attention, or my husband ain't got enough of my attention. Or my marriage going well, and I'm neglecting my job, or like, it's always going to be where you're doing amazing in this area, but something is lacking, and I'm still trying to figure out how to keep everything at like this even balance. I have not figured out the secret yet. So if anybody knows the secret, welcome to Breathe Black Mountain Podcast, where you can help me co-host and tell me. Another part to that question is somebody asked, and I included it with this question. I guess it was more of advice, but the person asked, I'm a new mom. How do you balance baby, love, finances, careers, and living our dreams? So just kind of piggybacking on what I said above, my answer to this is just prioritizing you. And that might sound crazy when you got a new baby, but it's really how you survive all of this. If you're not taking care of you, you ain't no good to anybody else. Listen, there's this example that I give when I do therapy with people about the airplane. If you never flew on an airplane, just follow with me. But if you flew on an airplane before, then you know that we go through the whole drills and they tell you about the oxygen mask. The oxygen mask is going to fall down from the ceiling. And when it falls down, I need you to apply yours. Before you apply, anybody else is now listening. I've been flying since I was a little tot, okay? I used to fly to go see my dad every summer. So I've been flying for a bit. And I remember always having a problem with that, because I'm like, why I got to what if I got kids? Like, I'm definitely going to apply that oxygen mask to my child first, because why would I not? But let me tell you what I learned. If you don't give yourself the oxygen first, you ain't no good to nobody else. And the older I get, the better I understand that scenario. I have to breathe in order for anybody else around me to get any help from me. So that is my answer to that. Like, you're going to have to prioritize you, even with the new baby, because that is how you take care of everything else. As far as living your dreams, I get this, and this was hard, especially being a young mom for me, because I had dreams. And I got pregnant in the middle of college. So I had to make a decision between finishing school and baby. And I know I had a support system, and everybody is not privileged in that way. But I know what used to motivate me is telling myself that what I was doing in terms of going back to school, in terms of sacrificing a lot from my child, is making a temporary sacrifice for my daughter's long-term gain. That's what used to keep me motivated, is this is a temporary sacrifice for long-term gain. And that's how I kept pushing, because it was very hard to miss stuff, miss out on things. And I did miss a few things, but in the long run, I'm able to give her what I consider a better life because of it, because I pushed through and made those sacrifices. So it's not easy, and I also don't think there's a cookie cutter answer, because what works for me may not work for you. But I feel like the key to that is just prioritizing you. How do you cultivate your own relationship with your mom while balancing being a mom? So, like I said, my mom and I are pretty close. We speak at least once a day, if not more. I do believe that having children of my own helped me connect with my mom on a deeper level, because she already knows the struggles of motherhood. She can offer me advice in those areas. She also has a very deep bond with all her grandkids, which helps in our relationship, because she's always around. Like, she ain't missing nothing, Jesus, if she can help it. She gonna be there. She coming to where them kids is at. But it's also challenged our relationship, me having kids, in a lot of ways, because we talk about the differences in our parenting styles. Like, we discuss things that may have happened with me growing up that I didn't necessarily like, and that I don't want to happen with my kids. And luckily, again, my mom has been super open to the conversations, even when they're hard, even when she don't like them and she don't agree. It's at least, an opportunity to tell her. So I guess I'm always with my mom because of, the relationship she has with her grandkids and the relationship we already have. So it's not really hard to continue a relationship with her while being a mom. But there are things I think we're learning from each other because I'm a mom, if that answers the question. What are some things you wished you would have known before becoming a mom? I wish I would have known how important it was for me to be well mentally. That's what I wish I would have known. Of course, my pregnancy was a surprise the first time, but even the second and third time, I wish I would have known the importance of having a healthy mental health was to raising children. I also wish I knew the amount of sacrifice. Like, I heard people talk about it, but I wish I knew the amount of sacrifice it involved and the amount of anxiety it creates loving these little humans, like worrying every single day about them, worrying if you're getting it right, worrying if if they're going to be safe. Like, there's an extreme amount of anxiety I have just worrying about my kids. Like, so I wish I'd have known how great that was before I became a mom. Do you have any regrets? If so, what are they? Of course I do. Of course I do. I wasn't sure if this was in reference to motherhood or just in general, but I mean, I got tons of regrets. Listen, I could do a whole episode on regrets. I think one of my greater regrets is not leaving my ex sooner than I did. It was a very toxic, volatile relationship. I've shared that briefly. I regret putting trust and faith into a lot of people that I have in my life, giving people benefit of the doubt too soon, because I am a lover, baby. I love hard. And I don't like getting hurt by people. So that is a huge regret, is trusting people with pieces of my life that I shouldn't have. In motherhood, of course, I could go on and on for days listing regrets. I think I lay in my bed every night and have a daily recap of things I wish I would have done differently today, but I try not to live there, because that only makes me spiral. It's not really productive, even though I do it every day. But I try to at least say, okay, you did it, it's done. What can you do different for tomorrow? But yeah, I have plenty regrets. What are your top 3 favorite memories of being a mom so far? All of my kids' births have to be my number one. All of their births, no matter how crazy, were all memorable. Traveling with my babies are top 3, memories. Anywhere we travel, I love to see my kids experience new things. I don't care if we just go to a new museum. Like, I love watching them experience something new. I love the excitement. I love the joy. I love them, mommy, look. Like, I love that. I love that part of motherhood. Mommy, look. Oh my God. I love it. And then 3 would be watching them do what they love. So whenever they find their thing, like watching their passion for, oh my God, I love it. My oldest 2 absolutely know their thing. Pooch, she coming along, we learning. But my oldest 2, like watching Jay draw or watching Jordy sing and watching Jordy act, like, oh my God, it's top 3. What is one sacrifice you wish you didn't have to make as a mom? I wish I had a choice to do what I love and not feel obligated to do it. And I guess that's in terms of work is what I'm talking about. Like, I love helping people. I would do this without it being a career. I would do this for free. I know it's my calling, but there's so much sacrifice that goes along with being a working mom that I don't feel like I've been able to devote the time and effort I would like to my kids. So that is something I wish I didn't have to sacrifice. Like, I wish I could do this when I wanted to, but do it when I didn't want to. I would also say sleep. Yep, sleep. I wish I didn't have to sacrifice my sleep, because, baby, listen, you don't ever sleep the same after you have kids. And I love sleep. Like, I wish I could be sleep. I wish I could be a nap. Like, I love sleeping, and I have never slept the same since I have kids. No. At what point of your life did you realize you had to mother differently, and how did you begin to implement your new practices? Almost immediately. If you've listened to the Spare the Rod episode, I speak a lot about my temperament and how I felt about spankings and things like that. So I knew pretty much out the gate that I was going to parent differently. I just still didn't know what to do in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, I still tried doing what I knew, because that's all I knew. And we know how that goes. We kind of just do what we know. I just kind of knew, in the beginning, because I knew that there was a lot of things in my childhood that I witnessed that I didn't want to parent my kids like. And with Jay, the first one, there was a lot of learning and unlearning I had to do. I'm still learning and unlearning, like, every single day. And what I do now in terms of implementing is I really try to parent from a place of, okay, when I was younger and this came up, what did I need, or what did I wish I would have had when this happened, or if this happened to me? So that is how I try. implementing new practices is really trial and error because the kids are different. I know my kids are all different personalities. So learning each of them and trying to find what works for them is like a daily thing. And I want to really stress that I am still learning. Like, I know that I mother differently from a lot of women around me growing up. So I'm still learning. I'm still learning what's working and what's not. And I think it's one of those things that I'm doing every single day. How did you handle explaining to your child why you and her dad split? Okay. And if you're new here, they're talking about Jay, my oldest. I learned this lesson from my mom. My mom told me pretty early on when it came to Jay and her father, because I already knew when I got pregnant what I was walking into. I already knew type of situation that I had got myself into. So, we were having conversations early on what this was going to look like. So I know my mom, one thing about my mom, she wasn't with my biological father when I was growing up. They weren't together. But I never heard my mom say anything bad about my dad. Like, growing up, she was very pro my dad, like supporting me having a relationship with him. And she always taught me to do the same thing with Jay. So in terms of the questions that I knew were going to come up, my mom used to always tell me, you tell her the truth in an age appropriate way. You don't tell her too much when she's too young to handle it. And, you tell her age appropriately. So for example, I was just sharing this with a friend the other day. The first time Jay asked me that, she was still in the car seat. And I remember we were driving down the street and she said, Mommy, how come you're with Mario, my current husband, and not with my dad, right? And I remember like, oh, here we go. So I was like, how do I tell her this by being honest, but also again not, because I never wanted to taint her thoughts of her father. I wanted her to create her own opinion of who he was, not take on mine. So what I said to her that day was, well, when Mommy was with your daddy used to make Mommy cry sometimes, and Mommy didn't like that. And Mario doesn't make Mommy cry. And she was like, you're right, Mario doesn't make Mommy cry. And I was like, yeah. And she was satisfied with that explanation. It's crazy to sound. And then she went on about her day. She asked me nothing else. So as she's gotten older, the questions have changed, of course, and they've become a little more detailed. And again, I assess her maturity level on it. I do not tell her every detail and every experience of that relationship, but I help her understand like that it wasn't a healthy one for me, in a way that she can, in a way that I'm not putting him down or trashing him, because that's important that I don't do that for her. The next question kind of piggybacks on this one is, does Jay have a relationship with the ex, and how is it? And it actually says the toxic ex, because he was very toxic. I'm going to be very careful with how I answer this again, because, just considering my child, yes and no. Okay. When Jay was growing up, once again, I did not speak negatively of her father to her. I allowed every opportunity for her father to be a part of her life. It was her father's decision to not participate in her life, even though he has a different version of that. But it was his decision. I never kept her away from him. I always welcomed the opportunity for him to see her. There was an 8-year time span where he did not see or communicate with her. She literally ran into, and when I say ran into, just like you're thinking it, like something that happened on TV. Her father, a couple of weeks after her 16th birthday, after 8 years. So they have reconnected since then. They talk. I don't know how much of a relationship it is, but they do have communication. I don't care to communicate or have any discussions with him, but they do communicate. She is in contact with him, if that answers the question. And maybe one day it'll be another episode, but not today. How are you mentally preparing for Jay to go to college? I'm not. Well, I am, but I'm not. I'm trying not to think about it. But I think it's not even more so mentally preparing, because I want her to go. I'm excited to see her go. I'm just more so worried about whether I've done my job in preparing her. She's still very much sheltered, and I'm like worried about her going to college, because the child don't do nothing without her mom and her daddy. Like, We know she got a fear of fire. She don't microwave food. She don't know how to do nothing. So mentally, I've been more so focused on helping her gain some independence, because I'm like, child, we're not going to be there. Like, so yeah, that's really been the focus in helping her go. I'm going to be worried. I know there was a second part to this question about the worry, and yeah, I worry about my kids, and they right here in the house with me, so I know there's going to be a sense of worry. I'm definitely going to have to ramp up therapy sessions while she's gone, but I think what's going to help me is just, keeping in touch with her. And she is planning to go to a city where we have a lot of family, so that is going to bring me some ease, knowing people can get to her and be close if she does need them. So that's how I'm preparing. Next question. I'm trying to fly through these. I ain't trying to keep y'all here for a long time. How do you manage your kids' interest and disinterest in extracurricular activities? Oh my God, Jay is the poster child for the girl has tried everything probably and then quitting. And then I'm gonna use the second question to go along with it. When one of your kids are not progressing in the area that they should, what is your combo? So I'm tying this into extracurricular because my oldest is the poster child for wanting to try something and then quitting. So the first thing I would say is supporting. So I'm always going to support something they want to try new. You want to try it, let's do it. Because I don't want to push off whatever I want to do on them. If it's not your thing, we're not doing it. Let's try what you want to do. So I'm always going to support. And even if they don't want to do it, I'm going to support them quitting. However, I like to add in some accountability, because I teach them things like, if you quit, you're letting people down. You're letting your team down by quitting. You're letting yourself down. Follow through, And that one has been just, she quits a lot of things. And it's frustrating, but I also feel like it's a lesson she gonna, at this point, she gonna have to learn through life. Because I tell her, I feel like if, I allow her to quit sports and quit this and quit that, that's gonna be her MO through life. She gonna think she could just quit jobs and all of that. But I stopped fighting with that at some point, child. But I think support and accountability is the best way I can answer that. Supporting them, because some of them may get into these things and then realize that that's not what they want to do. But then holding them accountable to, you made a commitment. You made a commitment, and you need to see this commitment through, is what I would say in terms of those questions. As a mother to all girls, how do you deal with the fears associated with raising girls? How they will be when they're older, dealing with relationship conversations about sex. Ooh, Jesus. This is also an upcoming episode, so stay tuned. This is a whole episode, so I'm trying to get too much into that because it's an episode. But raising girls was one of my biggest motivations for starting this. Like I said earlier, one of my biggest fears were the fact that I had all 3 girls. I think, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to ruin it, because I really want you to listen to that episode when it comes out. But I think all of your points here were my fears. Like, going back to what I said earlier, I tried to parent them from a space of, when I was a young girl, when I was going through self-esteem issues, when I wanted to know about sex, what did I want the conversation to be like, or what would I have wanted? So that's pretty much how I try to handle it. Like, if a conversation come up about friendships, it's so easy for me to say, and like instinct for me to say, girl, don't worry about them, but that ain't true. Like, you are worried about it. You are hurt because they hurt your feelings. You know what I'm saying? So teaching them what it looks like my oldest, I'm in this thing with her about teaching her what friends look like, because we all go through stuff with friends, but I feel like I'm trying to prevent you from some of these harder lessons. So let me teach you now what a friend is supposed to look like. Like, yes, that hurt your feelings, and how do you, and do you like that? Do you want to continue with that friend? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then things about sex, like, Jesus, we know, ain't nobody taught us about sex. It was, don't get pregnant. That was the message. Don't get pregnant. Okay, but what happens to these hormones that's raging in my body? Like, what do I do with them? So, I haven't had to do that yet. I've had some conversation about things with Jay, and it was more so because of, questions and stuff that come up in school. And I just try to answer them as honest as I can. Like, I'll tell her what it is. Like, true story, she showed me this thread of text messages with these girls, and they had a contraption they made that they use for masturbation. And I was like, Father God, help me, Jesus. I don't know. And I just explained it to her, and I told her, like, and then I started asking questions like, okay, well, what do you know about it? You know, and how do you feel about it? And what do you want to know about it? Like, cause this is real life. Like, they talking about it. So if she can't talk about it with me, she gonna get her own answers from Google or TikTok or whoever. So I try, as much as it makes me cringe, cause it makes me cringe, I just try to be as honest and upfront, cause I don't want her, I'd rather her ask me than try to find out somewhere else and get wrong information. But stay tuned, that episode is coming. Another question: because of the easygoing, soft personality Jordy has, how do you navigate teaching her to stand up for herself without losing her genuine innocence? Is it harder to teach her to stand on business than the other two? Yes. I try to teach Jordy to navigate her emotions first, because I do know that that child of mine is very impulsive. So I teach her to manage her emotions first. I teach her accountability and being assertive. The other side of that is I praise her personality type. I am attempting to teach her to love herself and not feel bad about who she is, because I feel like if she is very confident in who she is, it's going to be easier for her to stand on business. And believe it or not, she stands on business as much as she's very genuine and innocent. She stands on business more so than the other two do. She actually does stand on her business. Now, she gonna cry about it. But she will stand on business first. Like, she the one gonna tell you hurt my feelings and I don't like that. So it is harder because she does aim to love and please, but at the same time, like, again, I try to praise who she is and validate who she is, so that it's easier for her to be confident and when she does stand on business and be like, well, whatever, you know. All right, what type of relationship do you envision for yourself and your girls when they are adults and out of the house? I want my girls to know that no matter what or when they're out of the house, my mama coming and she got my back. Like, that's it in a nutshell. Like, I don't want to rescue them. I don't want to enable them, but I do want them to know that mommy is my person. That's what I want them to know. I don't need us to be besties. A lot of people like, I want my kid, I want to be bestie. I don't need that for my kids, because I want them to have their own lives, and I don't want them to be codependent on me. I want them to be able to distinguish between mommy and parents and their friends. Like, I want them to have their own relationships. But I do, of course, want the shopping dates, the manicures together, the lunches, and I want them to always know that home is safe. Like, I don't care what's going on in life. You can always come home because it's safe. Like, if you need to come home and spend the night a couple of days because you had a hard work week, come on, baby. Like, I'm gonna cook, or your dad gonna cook, and we gonna relax. Like, I want them to know that I'm safe, and that's the relationship I want us to have as they grow up and make their way into the world. Last few questions. All right, for those who desire to become mothers but are unsure if or when it may happen, what is one thing you want them to enjoy or don't take for granted during their child-free years? Baby, travel. See the world. See the world, okay? That's my first bit of advice, because my oldest right now, she's like, Mommy, I don't want to have no kids. I want to see the world. And I am pushing that so hard because I want her to experience everything she wants to experience before children. Not saying you can't do it with children, but I want her to do it before kids and then take your kids along, go see it twice. But I really want her to do what she wants to do first. Enjoy it. The second part of that question is take care of you. That's always going to be a recurring thing for me. Prioritize you before you have kids. You'll be much happier and healthier for it, and they'll love you much happier and healthier for it. Like, take care of you. Take care of you first before you have them babies. And travel. Like I said, I love to travel. How do you deal with negative thoughts? Making up scenarios in my head. So I talked a lot about this in She Got Bad Nerves episode. I think that, with negative thinking, you have to reframe. You have to thought stop. So there's a lot of tips I gave in that episode. And if you look up things like thought stopping, reframing, that is how I deal with negative thoughts. I'm not perfect at it because I still have them every day. I make up all kinds of crazy scenarios in my head because I have anxiety, and that is a big part of the diagnosis. But I told y'all in that episode, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is really good for me. Any kind of coping that you use, like music for me keeps me out of my head. Like, music helps me focus. Like, things like that help you escape those thoughts is what I suggest for handling that situation. Another question was, how do you handle doing the most for everybody else and feeling unappreciated, overlooked, and used? Boundaries is how you handle that. Boundaries, because you're going to be used and abused if not. Again, going back to that oxygen mask, if you're applying the oxygen mask to everybody else and not yourself first, it will lead to feeling unappreciated, overlooked, and used. And people take advantage when they know that you're a good person and they know that you'll do whatever, but you have to make time and space to take care of yourself. And if people aren't appreciating that from you, that's when boundaries come into play. That's when you say, hey, you don't get to continue to treat me like this, and you have to teach people how to treat you. So boundaries for sure, you're gonna have to put them in place. It's a book by Nidra. I always pronounce her last name wrong, but I think it's Tawab or Tawib. I'm sorry, please forgive me. But she has a book called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. I think it ain't in front of me, y'all, but I have it. Find Boundaries, Found Peace, something like that. I'm sorry if I'm screwing this all up, but it is. Her name is Nidra, Nedra. Good book. So it talks about boundaries and how to put them in place. Next question, how do I deal with a spouse who doesn't believe we can benefit from couples therapy? I say my first bit of advice, because like you said in your question, the men don't like the feelings. They don't like the feelings. I think at least black men, many of them, it's very rare, few of them who are open and showing feelings and things like that. And most of them probably have some therapy with some real healthy parents. But a lot of them don't like to. And it's really been the messages sent to them. But I would say the first step I would do is modeling the behavior for them. So men, especially our black men, they have to buy into the idea of therapy. They have to buy into it. So they have to see that it's working and it's worth it. So I would model it first. You go to therapy first. You kind of show how therapy is helping you and talk about it and see if you can get some buy-in from him. Maybe invite him to one of your sessions so he can see how it is, so he can kind of let down that wall of defense or intimidation, because he may fear what he doesn't understand or know about therapy. So you model it for him. You go first and let him see and ask questions and see if it helps. Another question, why is it that people forget about mom or parents of the baby when the child is born? They think it's okay, or like that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not sure why it's that way. But I also realize how hurtful that can be. And it sounds like it's really hurtful for you. I really think it's just the excitement of a new baby. Like, they smell so good and they're so cute and they're so chubby and so sweet. So I really think it's just the excitement of this new life and this new baby. But seriously, I think it's a matter of just culture when a new baby arrives. But I think what can help in this situation, so you don't feel bad, is expressing how you feel to the people who are involved. Like, sometimes it's really just as simple as bringing it up and making people aware, because they're not thinking about the impact it has on mom. Like, we know there's baby shower and they come for the babies, and then, after the baby born, they ain't thinking about you. They ain't calling for you no more. They're like, hey girl, put the baby on the phone. Like, baby can't even talk. Put the baby on the phone. But yeah, I've seen like new trends of like people bringing moms gifts to showers. I think that's a great idea. Or like having a mommy shower that's just for you. Those are ways that you can like make sure that people know, like, hey, I'm still here. I've seen people getting postpartum doulas, which I think is amazing. And where was that when I had children? Because what? Again, no, I think that speaks to the oxygen mask, because take care of you. Get you somebody who come and get that baby in the middle of the night and let you sleep. Like, I think making it your business to kind of assert that I'm still here and this is what I need to the people you love might be a start in that. Because people, again, they just want to see the baby. They don't realize that what they're doing is hurting you. So just speaking up and saying, hey, this is hurting my feelings. See me, I'm here. This last question was a very profound question that really had me thinking. So I really, really love this question. So I saved it for last, but I think it was just really, really one of the questions that I thought about. And I was like, wow. So the question was, if you could look into the future and say, because of blank, I did my job, or because of blank, my life is complete, what would you say? This was deep for me. So if I could look in the future and say, because of blank, I did my job, and I'm assuming my job was motherhood for the first part, I would say, because my girls are doing and going after what they love, I did my job. Because they know who they are, I did my job. Because they value their bodies and their mental health, I did my job. Because they have each other's backs, I did my job. And they treat people well. And because they have a relationship with God, I did my job. As far as my life being complete, if I help to impact or change at least one life in my lifetime, my life is complete. And I've done my job. That was super fun, y'all. Thank you so much for participating in the Ask Me Anything episode. And I honestly just can't thank y'all enough for your support thus far. Like, again, it's truly blown my mind to see the engagement and the listeners after only being on this platform for about 8 or 9 weeks. Like, oh my God, mind blown. I have so much more in store for Breathe Black Mom, even so much more in store for just this season alone. So I need y'all to continue to rock with me as we watch this thing grow. But before we end, the moment you all have been waiting for, we have to first announce our winner of the $100 gift card giveaway. I want y'all to know that this was done fair and square through an online generator. I will post that video to my stories as proof. I put everybody's name in there. It was not rigged in any way. And then I just hit spin and it selected our winner. So I also want to remind everyone that you had to complete all 3 steps to qualify. So if you don't see your name, it is because, and you wanted to see your name, it's because I didn't see all 3 steps. But I really think I got everybody who did all 3 and did the done and all of that. So if you only submitted questions, or if you only tagged but didn't submit, or if you're not following the page, you did not qualify for the giveaway, unfortunately. But there will be more opportunities to win giveaways, y'all. Like, I got so many ahead and prizes and things, you know, that I want to do. Even opportunity to come on show and chat with me. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Without further ado, the winner of our first giveaway is, drum roll please, Cherry Girl 85. Congratulations, y'all. Give it up for Cherry Girl 85. She is a loyal listener. Listen, homegirl be listening every week. But you are the winner. You are the winner. I will be in touch with our winner so I can be sure to get you your $100 gift card as our thank you and appreciation for listening and participating in our giveaway. All right, y'all. I done talked to y'all enough today. I done worn y'all out. This episode probably way too long, but I'll talk to y'all enough today. As always, thanks so much for listening. Also, thanks for helping me to celebrate my birthday. Show me some love. At this point, there should be a photo of me up. Like, y'all get to see the host T. No more just behind the mic. Y'all see me now, right? You see me. But it has been an amazing birthday so far, and I'm grateful for all of you for making it a great one for me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Do whatever streaming platform you're listening from. Make sure you follow Breathe Black Mom the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And lastly, don't forget to leave a review. Tell the people if you're liking this or not. The people might be another year closer to 40 and she don't like it, but she's here. She sees you and she's eternally grateful for you all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Hold on. I know you didn't think we were going to let you do this whole podcast and not wish you a happy birthday. Hello, Breathe Black listeners. I am T's younger sister / podcast editor, and I just wanted to take this time real quick to allow some of T's very important people in her life to wish her a happy birthday. And so without further ado, if we could just take a little bit more of your time, let's get these happy birthdays rolling in, shall we?
Hi, Mommy. It's happy birthday from Jordy. I just wanted to say I love you so much because you're always there for me.
Happy birthday, Mommy, from Big Frida. I hope you have an amazing day today. Thank you for providing for me and my sisters, and I love you so, so much. Bye.
Happy birthday, Mommy, from Jazz. I love you because you always play with me.
I was the first to tell you happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man. You getting old on me, son. I don't know what else to say.
Happy birthday, T. Wishing you many more blessed days to come. Love you.
Happy birthday, daughter. I pray that you have an awesome day. I pray that you have an awesome week and an awesome year. We love you much, and we are celebrating with you as you celebrate another year. Peace and love to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Love you much.
Happy birthday to you, fabulous woman, woman of God, great lady, the best there is. May you have many, many more birthdays and a great and wonderful life.
I want to say happy birthday to you. Sick and all, I want to say happiest birthday to the most amazing person, most amazing mommy, most amazing podcaster. She's a big deal, y'all. She's a big deal. And I'm thankful. I thank God for her. I thank God for her life. I thank God for her purpose. I thank God for everything that she's doing, everything that she believes in. She's literally been my rock. I call her T. She knows me as her favorite Boricua, amongst other titles. But I thank you. I appreciate you. I just wish a lifetime, an eternity of happiness, of love, of joy, of peace, of all the things that you deserve, T. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I thank you for the human being that you are, and the woman, and the everything that you're striving to be. Thank you, and thank you. I love you. Happiest birthday. You deserve it all. Happy birthday.
I don't even know where to start with this beautiful, beautiful soul known as my friend. Being a part of your life and seeing your growth has been such an honor for over the last 10 years. Not only can I come to you when things are hard, but I can also come to you when things are great, because you're going to celebrate beside me, you're going to pick me up, you're going to walk me where we need to be walking to, and I know that I can do life beside you. There is no greater joy that I have in my life than knowing that I can do life beside my friends, and you, my friend, are one of those people. So I am honored to be able to celebrate your birthday with you in this way. I am honored to be able to say happy birthday, girlfriend. I am honored to do life alongside you and your family, and I am so proud of you for walking into your purpose. So this year better look a little different, because baby, you are doing what you need to do. So see, let's toast it up. Happy birthday, friend.
Happy birthday from your Stinker Winker and I. We love you and hope that you are blessed with all the things on your special day, because you deserve it and so much more.
Happy birthday, teacher. I miss you.
Happy birthday, babe. Happy birthday. You know who this is. It's your lovable teddy bear, your husband, your boo bae, as you say. But I just want to say happy birthday, and I love you.
All right, sis. That's it. Again, just remember these were a few of the many, many people who truly love you and want to wish you a happy, happy birthday. We hope that you enjoyed your day. And now we can finally say thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, remember to just breathe. Bye, y'all.